Welcome back to our Alaska cruise on Royal Princess. Today's video is all about scenic cruising, starting with Hubbard Glacier on day 2 and then the iconic Glacier Bay on day 3. These are meant to be the absolute highlights of the cruise, but things didn't go as planned. Something happened that completely changed our experience. So what went wrong? Let's find out. Hi fellow travelers, this is Ken and welcome back to my channel. Right now, we're on the 7-day voyage of the Glacier's cruise aboard Royal Princess. And after a hectic embarkation day in Whittier, these 2 days are all about scenic cruising. Today, the ship is heading to Hubbard Glacier, but we won't be there until later this afternoon. So we've got a relaxing morning at sea. Today, we decided to have lunch at Alfredo's, the casual dining venue on Royal Princess. With our Plus package, we get 2 casual dining meals during the cruise, and we're using our first one here. Well, when you have the drinks package, the drinking starts early. We're now having an Aperol Spritz for lunch. Well, the starter has arrived, and Steve, I think you've got the antipasto with lots of prosciutto in it. For me, I've got the vegetarian starter, which is grilled peppers. It looks quite pretty. Well, let's try it out. It tastes quite fresh, the ingredients. How's yours? Good too? Good. Well, Steve's pizza has arrived. Look at how beautiful it is. Is there a burrata on top? Yes, a huge burrata at the middle of the pizza. And apparently black truffles as well. I ordered a pasta. I actually don't like pizza that much. Yeah. So I ordered a pasta. They actually warned me this is not their specialty and suggest me to order something else, but I still ordered it, so this is totally on me. I like it. They didn't recommend it, but I actually like this pasta. It's very cheesy, so I'm gonna add more cheese powder, parmesan. After lunch, we headed to the theater for an enrichment talk. North to Alaska, the Big Ice. Perfect timing before all the glacier viewing. Princess has an onboard naturalist and guest speakers who give talks throughout the cruise, adding so much depth to the Alaska experience. So today is the Hubbard Glacier Scenic Cruising, and they're selling these jackets. They're actually selling it at $80, but if you go to the ports, they're actually selling it at about $30. Earlier, the upper decks were closed because of high wind, but as we have now entered Yakutat Bay and the wind has died down a bit, people are starting to gather. They have reopened this area now. Let's head up to deck 18. Well, as you can see, we are dressed up really warmly with this extra blanket that is given out by Princess Cruises. The reason is that we are actually approaching Hubbard Glacier, and you can just see it in front of the ship. We have been told that once we're there, the ship will pirouette around, so everyone gets the chance to see it. As we sail into Disenchantment Bay, the temperature starts to drop. It's a clear sign that we are getting closer to Hubbard Glacier, which is North America's largest tidewater glacier. Measuring over 75 miles long and plunging 1,200 feet into the depths of the bay, the sheer size of this glacier is awe-inspiring. Before we reach our viewing spot, the ship stops to drop off cruisers who have booked the optional excursion. They are boarding a smaller boat to get right up to the glacier's towering ice face, something we considered but ultimately skipped. I'm sure it's an amazing experience, but at a jaw-dropping $420 per person, we decided to pass. We actually went on an excursion at Seward to see Alfredo Glacier up close, and it was a much longer trip, but at less than half the price. So if you have a pre or post cruise stay in Alaska, then you might want to save your money for an experience like that instead. By the way, if you would like to see how that excursion went, check out the link above. Once the excursion group has gone, Royal Princess begins its slow rotation. This gives everyone the chance to take in the view. Hubbard is often called the Galloping Glacier because, unlike most glaciers that are retreating, it's actually advancing. In 1986 and 2002, it surged so much that it blocked off Russell Field, briefly turning it into a lake before the water pressure forced its way through. From here, we can see deep blue ice formations and floating chunks that have broken off. They are called growlers, by the way. We're quite far away from the glacier, so we can't really tell if there's any carving. Overall, while I've loved to get closer today, it's still an incredible sight from a distance. If you've been enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel with notifications enabled. That way, you'll be notified when I release new contents. Wow, talk about good timing. We just returned to our stateroom because we have seen enough. And look at it, the clouds are so low now. If it had been like that earlier, we pretty much wouldn't have seen the glacier. So it was really lucky that it was quite clear when we arrived. Yeah, visibility is so low now. Before dinner, there's a special Captain's Champagne Waterfall. But ironically, the captain is busy navigating out of Yakutat Bay, so he couldn't attend. Still, let's see how it went.
Champagne Waterfall with the most spectacular scenery surrounding us as we sail through Yakutat Bay. But you can see our food and beverage team have stacked up all of these champagne glasses down here like the Great Gatsby. Now, unfortunately, our captain can't be with us right here, right now, as I'm sure you can imagine he's on the bridge navigating us through this beautiful piece of scenery that we can see outside. But I want to introduce
your attendance, speaking to you this evening from the bridge. On behalf of the entire ship's company, I would like to wish you a warm welcome on board the magnificent Royal Princess.
how many glasses in the tower? Okay, 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I was lost count. How many? 635. 635 glasses placed by hand down here. 10, 8, 6,
5,
4,
3,
2,
1.
Happy New Year! There we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we pour this champagne down here, we make a wearing it, don't we? We make a pledge to you that we will make sure we go above and beyond to give you the vacation of a lifetime.
So next, we come to the Concerto dining room. So tonight is formal night, and we have ordered the drinks as well as the food. We're starting with a Prosecco. Cheers. Today, we have ordered 2 starters because we are quite hungry. For me, my first one is actually a fruit salad. It tastes nice, but it tastes more like what a dessert should be. Steve's have got the duck breast.
That's actually very, very good. I'm surprised at how good it is, actually.
Right, our second starter has arrived. It's a gnocchi with truffled cream. Very nice taste. Well, Steve, your beautiful dinner has arrived. It's the beef tenderloin cooked to medium rare. As for me, I've got the duck à l'orange. This is very good. This dish is sometimes quite tricky to cook. It could be quite tough if you overcook it, but this is just right, really good. And the sauce is really lovely. After dinner, we went to gelato for a premium dessert. I chose the Da Vinci this time. These desserts are huge, and by day 2, it's clear that the unlimited premium desserts in the premier package aren't really worth it. We're already struggling to have just one a day. They get repetitive fast as well, and not to mention how unhealthy they are. After that, we headed to the theater for tonight's show, Sweet Soul Music. Right, we just got back to our cabin after the show, Sweet Soul Music. It's better than I expected, but anyway, tomorrow is gonna be a big day when we'll be visiting Glacier Bay National Park. So it's time to go to bed early tonight. Good morning. It's day 3 of our Alaska cruise. Today, we're heading into Glacier Bay National Park, the crown jewel of the Alaska cruise. Now, cruise ship visits to Glacier Bay are limited by the National Park Service. And this is exactly why we have chosen to sail Alaska with Princess. A maximum of only 2 cruise ships a day are allowed to enter the park. In fact, most cruise lines don't visit Glacier Bay on their Alaska cruise itineraries. On the other hand, Holland American Line and Princess Cruises hold concession contracts to operate about 71% of the Glacier Bay visits. Both cruise lines have deep ties to Alaska. They have been operating in Glacier Bay since before it became a national park in 1980. After breakfast, we made our way to the theater for the first park ranger program of the day. One of the brilliant things about cruising Glacier Bay is that national park rangers actually come aboard the ship. They will be delivering talks, offering live commentary from the bridge, and even roaming the top decks to help spot wildlife. This morning, we learned a lot about whales, and it was genuinely fascinating. The ranger shared stories, science, and even tips on how to identify different species. It's a great way to start the day before reaching our first glacier. That was a very interesting talk by Ranger Dan about whales. We certainly learned a lot of interesting things. Now we're going to visit the visitor lounge, where I think the National Park Service has set up shop there. So currently we're sailing up Glacier Bay, and we'll be going to Margerie Glacier. We'll also get to see the Grand Pacific Glacier as well. It's very dark, it looks very dirty. After that, the ship will sail down south, and we'll be seeing Lamplugh Glacier before getting back out. During a day in the park, some ship facilities won't operate, such as the casino or the laundry facilities, and cruising speeds are tightly regulated, all with an eye towards keeping the experience focused on the magnificent scenery and protecting marine wildlife. It takes a little while to reach the glaciers themselves, so we headed back to our cabin to enjoy the sail-in from the comfort of our balcony. As we sailed north into Glacier Bay, it's wild to think that just over 200 years ago, around the time America was being founded, the entire bay was filled with ice hundreds of feet high. Since then, the ice has gradually retreated, carving out the landscape and leaving behind the dramatic tidewater glaciers that we'll see today in the northern reaches of Glacier Bay. As you saw on the map earlier, we'll be visiting Grand Pacific and Margerie Glaciers, which are side by side next to each other at the far northern reaches of the Inside Passage. Most ships, including ours, will also sail near Lamplugh Glacier, and while we were soaking in those views, we decided to treat ourselves to a bit of room service. Cheesecake, of course. With the Princess Plus package, delivery is included, so you can order anything without any extra fees. If you are not on the package, there is a small delivery charge, but the food itself is still complimentary. One thing we learned on our Kenai Fjord cruise, and also today, is that these icebergs are not really called iceberg because they are much smaller. They are actually called bergy beets or growlers. Well, we finally got to Margerie Glacier, which is the most famous one in this national park. Let's see whether the ship will go closer so we can see some calving action. Right, we've made it to the end of Tar Inlet in Glacier Bay, and here they are, Margerie Glacier on the left and the darker, more rocky-looking Grand Pacific Glacier just beside it. Margerie is about a mile wide and rises 75 meters above the waterline, but that's only part of the story. There's nearly 30 more meters of ice hidden below the surface. Like an iceberg, most of it is out of sight. It tends to get all the attention with its towering face and vivid blue tones. But in some ways, Grand Pacific is the more fascinating one. At first glance, it may look less impressive, more like a massive pile of gravel, but it's actually the glacier that carved most of Glacier Bay as we know it today. Back in the late 1700s, this entire bay was covered by a single massive ice sheet, and the Grand Pacific was the main force driving it forward. Since then, the ice has retreated more than 60 miles. That's one of the fastest glacial retreats ever recorded. So while Margerie steals the spotlight, Grand Pacific tells the real story of change here. Every now and then, we heard crackling of shifting ice. It sounded like calving, but we never actually saw it. Still, the sound alone was enough to draw us out. It's time to head up to the top deck to check out more. While the balcony was warmer and far more comfortable, and honestly, the view wasn't bad at all. There's just something about being on the top deck. The wind on your face, that full panoramic view, you feel like you're in the landscape, not just watching it pass by. Well, we're still waiting for a calving to happen, but you have to be ready. You never know when it's gonna actually happen. You have to make a commitment to spend the entire time out here on the deck, ready with your equipment. Usually, you will hear the calving event before you actually see it. You need to watch for smaller pieces breaking off, which offers an indication of the largest pieces about to form. The glacier has its own dynamic that is so completely out of our control. Well, unfortunately, we're leaving Margerie Glacier now. We haven't really seen the carving, but I guess the ship has got to move anyway. Well, a bit of sad news. Earlier, we were staring at the Margerie Glacier and the ship started to move. We first thought it's rotating for the port side to see the glacier, but soon it's obvious that we're leaving. So we went back to the stateroom thinking that we're now moving on to Lampu Glacier, the second one. Unfortunately, we then heard this announcement on the PA.
Increasing the speed, proceeding toward Ballet Cove, where we should arrive there by 4:30, 4:45 this afternoon, in order to perform a medical evacuation. Once we be there, we will lower one of our ship's tender, and we will then move the patient from the ship to the shore side. I do apologize for this interruption through this fantastic day here in Glacier Bay.
So due to the medical emergency, we'll have to leave Glacier Bay immediately, and in fact, we are now cruising at a higher speed in order to offload the person involved. I do hope them a speedy recovery, but things like that do happen when you go on a cruise. We didn't see any whales or orcas, and we didn't see any glacier carving, and we had quite disappointing weather today. But that's all part of the traveling and life sometimes. Things do not necessarily go to plan and you just have to adjust and move on. After the earlier disappointment, I thought we would cheer ourselves up by having afternoon tea at Concerto dining room. Well, afternoon tea has arrived. It comes with black tea. And you have chosen 3 sandwiches: tuna, chicken, and egg. I have opted for salmon and tuna. Is it weird that only black tea is offered, or could I have asked for green tea? So we've just got some cakes. This one is peanut butter, and this one is pistachio. And we also got a scone that comes with cream and jam. The place is really overflowing now. So we just had the afternoon tea and it was pretty good. So you could kind of say we ate our sorrow away. After our afternoon tea, we made our way back to the cabin, just in time to catch a glimpse of the park rangers disembarking. It felt like a quiet signal that our time in Glacier Bay had come to an end, and a good moment to reflect. Visiting Glacier Bay National Park was one of the main reasons we chose this itinerary with Princess, as they're one of the few cruise lines with access here. So yes, it was disappointing that our time here was cut short. The weather didn't help either. I was really hoping for clear skies and sunshine to show off these glaciers. But sometimes that's just how it goes. You can't control nature. But that said, we were really glad we did do the excursion in Seward earlier this trip, where we got up close to a glacier. That definitely helped soften the blow today. If you want to see how that adventure went, you can check out that video here. Or if you'd like to follow our cruise journey, check this other link to keep watching. Either way, see you over there. Ciao.